Biztonsági riasztás. Nem regisztrált fegyverek. Elkobzómező aktív. Figyelem! Ellenrezonáns szimularitás eszköz ügyelve. Az elkobzómező leáll.
Weapon strip. Once we introduced the supergravity gun, we really didn't want players returning to their conventional weapons, so we did the only rational thing. We disintegrated them. It helps to have an inscrutable supernatural enemy like the Combine as the antagonist of your game, because it stands to reason that they could simply just have a disintegrator. Why not? And if, for some reason, we had needed you to have your loadout back in the middle of the level, wouldn't you know it, they also have a reintegrator.
Super Gravity Origins. By this point in development, we were confident in the design of the gravity gun. We wanted to give the player a taste of feeling omnipotent, and set to work on making a supercharged version. It didn't take long, truly maybe a day of prototyping, before we had something that we liked and it became the core of the gameplay of the Citadel. With our physics engine complete, we were free to find new and exciting ways to push it past its previous limits and yield whatever fun results came of it. Our prototype object, an ultra-heavy watermelon that weighed hundreds of pounds in our physics sim, ultimately became the Combine balls you experience in the game.
Dissolved weapon. All the Combine's weapons were set to dissolve after the Combine soldier was ragdolled with a gravity gun for two reasons. One, so players wouldn't pick them up and use them, but also to improve the performance in these maps. Additionally, a ragdoll manager was added that would remove the fallen soldier ragdoll corpses as the player progresses forward.
Combine ball and balls training. In playtests, players were not noticing that the Combine spheres dissolved the soldiers and why they were disappearing. We initially tried to solve this by making the spheres prefer to bounce towards enemies to increase the likelihood of dissolving kills. We eventually realized that the reason players didn't notice the effect was because it always happened during intense combat, and people have a very limited ability to learn new things when under stress. As a late-effort remedy, we inserted a low-pressure training room with a force field that can only be opened by grabbing the Combine ball. This setup was added specifically to train how Combine balls work to deactivate force fields, and that punting it at the soldier would dissolve them. Even then, in the playtests, it was only moderately successful. Despite our efforts, some of the players still struggled to perceive the dissolving effects of the projectiles. We ran out of time and decided that since players were still telling us they were feeling powerful, it was okay if not all of them perceived why they were succeeding.
Combine energy. What started life as a watermelon in prototype form ended up turning into an energy ball after the sounds made for its impact and explosion sounded less like produce and more like what we have here in the game. Once we started iterating on levels that weren't watermelon-based, we realized we could use the energy ball not just as a fun way to kill soldiers, but also as a puzzle element for powering up and down various equipment. At a significantly later point in development, we were not liking the AR2 alt-fire we had at the time, and since the team liked the Combine ball, we ended up incorporating it right into the AR2 alt-fire. We always look back and are surprised at how the things we were working on independently of one another in the game come together late to solve problems.